So this is going to be my video for the month of July 2018, my countdown to retirement video. The first segment of this is going to be with my friend Gary. This is the first time someone else is in one of my videos. Gary was visiting from England for the first week of July, and we did a little video together, which I also uploaded separately, but I'm going to put it here too, and then finish along for the rest of the month on my own. And as I'm saying this, it's not the beginning of July, it's the end of July, the last day, and I already just finished my last clip, which will be at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that if you make it through the entire video. Bye. See a timer. What day was it again?
It's the 8th of July, yes. 2018.
Well, okay, you just heard it. So it's July 8th, 2018, Sunday, and the week of Gary is over, and Gary's about to head to the Kennedy Airport to go home. So we had a great time this week, and we went to 5 bookstores. Second Time Books in New Jersey, the Book Trader in Clark, New Jersey, the Book Review in Huntington, Long Island, the Book Barn in Niantic, Connecticut, and Friends of the Library in Poughkeepsie. And because Gary's books are all packed up, we can't show you them. But I did buy 44 or 45 books, so we're about to go through those, and Gary's going to be doing the guest commentary.
So quite restrained this week.
So, do you remember any of the books that you purchased?
No.
No. Okay, so we can't hear about those. Wait, there was one about Wounded Knee.
Yeah, there was a small paperback book from the Cody Museum, or Centre of the West, Buffalo Bill Museum, about Wounded Knee. Very interesting looking.
Oh, and he also bought a copy of the book we're about to show you. There were 2 copies.
Right,
so, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, a novel by John le Carre. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
And I only bought this because Gary bought a copy, and I seen him reading that author, so I thought I'd give it a try. So, what's that book about? Have you read it?
I've read it. I can't remember what it's about.
Okay, but, well, it's a mystery.
It's a spy story based in the 1960s. All of le Carre's books are good. He's a good writer, intelligent writer, very quick read, good fun, well worth reading.
And best of all, 50 cents. Okay. Dashiell Hammett, The Continental Op.
Well, Dashiell Hammett was actually, I think he worked for Pinkerton's, didn't he? As well as being a writer.
I think so, yes.
And very authentic stories. Once more, well worth reading. Read everything Dashiell Hammett.
1920s and 30s or 30s and 40s?
Yeah, that's right. 30s-ish, that 30s, kind of era, yeah. Did he write the Maltese Falcon? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. But once more, everything he wrote is worth giving a try.
My 3rd copy. I don't know why. Okay. Raymond Chandler, Farewell My Lovely.
I've read this as well. I can't remember the story, but once more, Raymond Chandler I'd put in the same category as Dashiell Hammett. Read it.
Robert Mitchum's on the cover of this one.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's very good. Moonraker. Great cover.
By Ian Fleming.
Oh yeah, Ian Fleming. Obviously, it's a James Bond book, and I've read this one. Probably read it a few times. Well,
you have read it a few times?
Yeah, I've read Farewell My Lovely a couple of times as well. But I remember this one. This is a guy whose plan is to take over the world. They made a film of it, but the film isn't really...
Is the film not as good as the book?
No.
It's goofy. The films are goofy, right?
The film is really a pale shadow of the book. The book, I like Ian Fleming. People criticise him, but actually, he's really good.
Though they say he was a little bit like racist, maybe, right? But he was writing. That was how he was. People were at the time.
Yeah, probably just reflecting the times. Yeah, not kind of
not personal
overtly
hatred towards anybody. Just that he was just being a person of his time. And how he expressed himself.
He was a kind of upper class guy, probably saw himself as superior to most people.
Good luck saying his last name.
This is Guadalcanal Diary by Richard Tregaskis. Is that it?
Tregaskis or something. I'm not sure how you would say it.
The epic hour-by-hour account of U.S. Marines in battle. I saw a film of this when I was young. I don't really know very much else about it. That was the War in the Pacific, wasn't it?
I have the movie but haven't watched it yet. And this is my second copy of this paperback.
Because one is not enough. Mountain Man by Vardis Fisher. And this was made into the film Jeremiah Johnson. I've read the book and I've seen the film. In fact, I saw the film again recently and it's a good film. In fact, very good film. One is Robert Redford.
Yes, and he's on the cover.
Oh, yeah. One of Robert Redford's best and a good book as well. Well written, nice detail.
That's a personal favorite. What I like about that book, and I'll never forget, is that the character...
Is that your first copy?
No. I have 7 or 8 of them. With Robert Redford on the cover, plus without him on the cover. But one thing about that book, I remember when I was reading it, I was living in Montana at the time, and whenever it would like storm in the movie, there was a storm, the character in the movie, Sam, I forget his last name, would sing. He would just love like the bad weather, and he would sing out loud for joy. And so now every time when it rains, since that time, like the last 20 years of my life, every time there's like a bad storm or it rains, I think about that book and that character, and it makes the storm not so bad that it's raining.
Helen McInnes, Cloak of Darkness. I don't know anything about this, but it says on the back, when Bob Rennick of Intel, a counter-terrorist agency, discovers his name on the minus list, it is just the beginning of a riveting tale of suspense that sweeps from London to New York, Washington, Paris, Chamonix, Amsterdam, Zurich, and exotic Djibouti. Sounds like something for Steven Seagal, doesn't it?
Helen McInnes wrote espionage novels starting with World War II. And one of them I read so far was really good, made into a movie with Fred McMurray, which was not so great. But I like her.
What was that film?
It was one of her first books, but I can't remember the name of the movie.
No.
Can't remember the name of it. Fred McMurray was in it.
I've not read anything about her.
And it was pretty good. You want to see something?
No.
Okay, next. A copy closer to Gary's heart.
This is Deadwood by Douglas Hurt. I don't know anything about this, but it says, by the 1870s, the greed for gold had engulfed the American West. Wild mining towns grew where there was once only the whistle of the wind, etc.
Custer's in this novel. That's why I bought it. It's Black Hills, Deadwood, and Custer. And Hurt is Hirt, if you're looking it up. It's
This is
he was the editor.
This is a sci-fi book called Generation. And it's edited by David Gerald, and I presume that it's a collection of short stories.
Yes.
Is it?
And mostly I bought it because the cover was really cool.
Well, I was going to say it's got a nice cover. I don't know anything about the.
I'm hoping the stories are
contents.
good, but the cover was nice, and it was 50 cents.
Well, you can't go wrong. I don't recognise any of the authors, but I'm sure it'll be good. We Were There at the Battle for Bataan by Benjamin Appel. And this is another war in the
World
Pacific.
War II. I would say on the back. We didn't do our homework in advance. Yeah, Japanese. Where did I just see that? Japanese, right? Pacific War.
I don't know anything about this at all, but it looks as though it's. I wonder if it's a film spin-off. Because it says historical consultant Major General Courtney Whitney.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but it was $1.
Can't go far wrong for $1.
Nice cover. This is a humorous book.
See here, Private Hargrove.
The guy's name was Marion.
by
Marion. It doesn't. I mean, that's saying.
Marion Hargrove, same name as John Wayne.
Oh yeah, Marion.
Marion,
That's right.
yeah. I always thought that was a girl's name, but anyway.
Maybe that's with an A in at the end, not an O-N.
Anyway, I know nothing about this other than Mark's told me it's a.
It's supposed to be a humorous account of a soldier's experience in World War II.
It was Marion Hedgepeth, the outlaw, as well, wasn't it? Fancies and Good Nights by John Collier. Once more, I know nothing about this.
It's short stories, and I just saw it on the rack, the book rack, at the book barn in Niantic, and it looked interesting, and I looked it up. It had good reviews. It's a lot of short stories, and it's supposed to be kind of like weird. So
it's not
I thought
John Collier, who was involved in the Indian Reorganisation Act.
I don't think so.
No. Was that John Collier?
It was a Collier, but I don't think that. I'm not sure.
No, I'm sure it wasn't.
It's not the same guy.
The Trembling Earth by Dale Van Every. I know the name. I may even have read some of his stuff years ago, but I don't know anything about this film. A turbulent novel of the days when men fought the cunning of their fellow man and defied the might of nature to open the rich Mississippi Valley. A first-rate historical novel, according to the Pasadena Star-News.
So, if you don't know, I am an atheist, and if I may say, Gary is also. And when I opened up this book, there was like a part about a guy was like preaching about God or Jesus, and I just thought it was kind of funny, and he writes frontier novels, which are pretty decent, also writes history. So, I just thought it was kind of amusing listening to this guy preach, so I got it. Plus, it's a nice old vintage book.
This looks like something I probably wouldn't want to read. It looks depressing.
It looks that way.
The Execution of Private Slovic by William Bradford Huey. And apparently Private Eddie D. Slovic was the only soldier executed in the American Army in the Second World War for cowardice in the face of the enemy. It says that there were 49 who were sentenced to death and he was the only one executed. So I have to say it sounds pretty depressing.
It looked kind of like an interesting book, though.
Yeah, interesting subject.
And was there a movie? I thought I saw something about a movie somewhere. Maybe not.
You say, was there a movie? There was a film. I can't remember the name of the film, which has an American soldier being executed, and they play "Have Yourself a Very Merry Christmas" in the background as it's done. It's a very moving scene. I can't remember.
What's the name? I don't know if you're familiar with that one. What's the name of the movie that had Kirk Douglas in it? It's like he's in the French army, and they execute like 3 soldiers because they didn't. The whole unit like didn't attack like they were supposed to, and they had to like get discipline or something, but they really couldn't attack, and then they picked out like 3 guys just to like kill at random. You ever see that movie?
No.
It was actually pretty sad, and it was a good movie though.
This one is Utmost Savagery. The 3 Days of Tarawa by Colonel Joseph H. Alexander, U.S. Marine Corps, retired. And I'm guessing this is another war in the Pacific. November 1943. And as it's written by a retired Marine Corps colonel, I presume he knows his stuff.
Hope so.
But I know nothing about it.
That's an English author, right? Is it?
I've never heard of him, no. Black Thursday by Martin Cadin. And the epic story of the most savage air battle ever fought, the Flying Fortress attack on Schweinfurt, October 14, 1943. I don't think I've even heard of that.
Neither did I, but it looked interesting.
Air battle. Yeah, sounds interesting.
And it's got a cool cover.
I'm guessing it would be American because it was the Americans who had flying fortresses, didn't they?
Yeah, but he wrote other books about air warfare, not just that.
This one is Alfred Hitchcock Presents Scream Along With Me. Now, I don't suppose he wrote this at all.
No, it's he would collect, or someone who worked for him would collect stories, the publisher.
Okay, so it's got great stories by Miriam Allen DeFord. Now, the only reason I recognise the name Miriam Allen DeFord is that I've got a book about Bonnie and Clyde written by her. I presume it's her. Thomas M. Dish. I think he was a well-known sci-fi writer. The other name...
Donald Westlake is familiar. He wrote some popular, gangster type or crime type books.
Yeah, I'm sure that's good buy. What was that?
This was
50 cents or $1?
One or the other. I forget where I bought it. I don't remember where I got that one. Might have been the Book Barn, in which case it was $1.
Nice cover.
But I don't remember. And last of the paperbacks.
Valley of the Shadow by Ralph Peters. And it's a New York Times best-selling author. And
Custer's in that one. That's why I bought it.
It's about the Civil War. The desperate struggle for mastery of Virginia's Shenandoah Valley. Yeah, should be good. I'm not sure. Okay.
And we're back.
So this one I think you got from the Book Barn, did you?
Yes.
I know that because I had that in my pile.
Oh, you did?
And
you put it back and then I took it?
Well, because I've got to carry the stuff on a plane, I was trying to really reduce what I was buying. And this is Broad Axe and Bayonet by Francis Paul Prucha, who's a really good writer. I think he's some sort of...
is he religious?
Religious guy, yeah. But I don't think that gets in the way of his writing. And this is the role of the United States Army in the development of the Northwest, 1815 to 1860. So his books are usually quite academic, but I reckon that'd be a good book. In fact, I may even have a copy of it. I'm not sure.
You read this one, you said, I think.
Yeah, Overlord by Max Hastings. Max Hastings is a British journalist and he's got a good writing style. Probably not as good as an academic historian, but actually probably more accessible, and his books are a good read. And this is about the D-Day landings. Yeah, so, and I've read this, a good read, yeah. I think I bought it because I'd been on holiday a few times to Normandy and wanted to know more about it. This one I don't know anything about. Witness to Gettysburg by Richard Wheeler. And this is, can't see who it's published by, but I presume...
Is it on the side?
Yeah, probably is.
Meridian.
More than 50 detailed maps, portraits and sketches. Looks really interesting for if you want to know about Gettysburg. And if I wasn't having to carry everything on the plane, this would have tempted me.
I like to read first-hand accounts.
Yeah.
What people experience. This should sound familiar.
Oh yeah, this is another copy of Guadalcanal Diary. This is a hardback version. Nice map inside showing the location of Guadalcanal. It's got the Marine Corps badge in it as well. Good value. I'm just trying to see if it's a first edition. Some nice photographs. Yeah, it's the first edition, yeah. Printed in 1943. That's interesting.
Yeah, right when the war was still on.
Yeah. Ambrose Bierce, he was a journalist, wasn't he?
Yeah, he disappeared like around 1913. No one knows.
In Mexico, was it?
Yeah, it was 1911, 12, 13, somewhere around there.
Civil War stories. Are these? Is this?
He was in the Civil War. No, he did. Yeah, he wrote fiction. He wrote. It's kind of like, in the vein of maybe Edgar Allan Poe, kind of like macabre, stories. Not all of them, but some of them.
Mm.
Just weird stories, maybe ghost type stories.
And he, as you say, disappeared, and no one knows what happened to him. Like Jimmy Hoffa. Probably not like Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, one of my guilty pleasures. But Gary bought a book about the person we're about to show you who this book is about. He bought a book by this
That's
person.
right, I did actually, yes. This is Becoming Jane Austen by John Spence. Did they make a film of this?
Yes.
Yeah, I've not seen the film, but I've started reading. I think we've both independently started reading Jane Austen without knowing that the other was. And
you got Northanger Abbey.
Yeah, I just bought
I read.
Northanger Abbey, and I'm actually, for the plain pack, I've got Sense and Sensibility.
Oh.
I've not started it yet. And I recently read, Persuasion.
Persuasion, yeah, you told me about that one.
This is, I presume, a biography.
Well, it's like a movie book.
Yeah, of the actor Jack Lemmon by Will Holtzman. Jack Lemmon was in that film where the men dress up as women, wasn't he?
Yeah, Some Like It Hot.
That was directed by Billy Wilder. That's a joke between us when Mark couldn't remember the name of the film.
Oh, you mean you knew it just now, but you made me have to remember it? Oh.
This is
$1.
I hadn't seen this one before I saw the pile of them. This is Mort Kunstler's Old West, and it's a book of Mort Kunstler's paintings of cowboys.
A little mini book.
Yeah, nice reproduction, so nice quality, and it's got were some of his paintings used as book covers?
Yeah,
I'm sure I've seen that on the cover.
No, that's from. Is that the painting that's on the cover of the Armand's book about Is that the painting?
Alias Frank Cancer?
Yeah, is that the painting on the cover? It
looks like it
book?
to me.
I think it might be.
Oh, actually, it looks like it's used on this novel as well.
Well, he used it on other. Yeah, they used it on other covers, but
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think that's from that.
Yeah. How much was that?
This was $1.
Well, a very good buy. Another one by Mort Kunstler, and this one is Indians, and this also has got some nice pictures in it. See if there's any I recognise. I'm sure there are.
Some D. Brown books that used his paintings on the cover.
I'm sure I recognise this one of some sort of battle. I don't know if anyone's ever.
Oh, you're making a joke.
I was trying to make.
I blew it.
Yeah, he spoilt my joke.
Oh yeah, here, wait. Right on the cover of. Centennial.
Oh, I didn't realise that was him. Centennial Campaign, well worth reading itself. In fact, still a classic of the genre, as they say. Yeah. Another good buy. Is it? Yeah, it's recording.
Yeah.
This is a book that I was actually quite jealous of Mark getting, but I couldn't justify buying it because I already have it. But I've got it in paperback. It's Pueblo, Hardscrabble and Greenhorn by Janet LeCompte. And it's a book about some little, I suppose, little towns and settlements in southern Colorado that were in competition with Bent's Fort in the early days. Really well researched, really well written, and a great find. And this was at the Book Barn, wasn't it?
Book Barn. It's like maybe $4.
I wish I had it. This is The Spirit of 76, the story of the American Revolution as told by participants, edited by Henry Steele Cumminer and Richard B. Morris. I'm not sure what this is about.
It's
some sort of rebellion, is it? Or?
This is an interesting book that...
It does look interesting.
Was it... Which one was it? It's basically participants telling their stories, and I think it might have also from the British side also accounts.
No, it looks like a really good buy. Henry Steele Cumminer.
He wrote a book about Native Americans that I have up there.
And I think he was one of the first people to gather original sources and published them, wasn't he?
I'm not sure.
I think so, and I can't see when this was. This was published in 1983, but the original version looks. I can't read the Roman numerals, but 67 is that? 68?
No, it would be 8. It would be 68 maybe or 78.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't read the Roman numerals either.
It looks like a good buy.
Quite thick.
Yeah. 2 volumes in one.
Yes, that's right. Now this, I'll just tell you because it'll be hard to find. This is based on pension applications. Revolutionary War soldiers, when they wanted to get a pension, they'd have to do an application and tell their story, I guess. And so this book has those kind of accounts.
University of Chicago Press.
Yeah. So the title.
Oh yeah, The Revolution Remembered, and eyewitness accounts of the War for Independence, edited by John C. Dan. Now, I mean, I wonder in his editing whether he comments on the fact that having a financial interest, maybe they weren't quite wholly reliable in the way they described things. Who knows?
We'll find out.
I suppose, did they have an axe to grind in misrepresenting things?
Good find.
Yeah, good find though.
Now this is part of a 6 series set. I have 3 of them now. This is the 3rd one that I have found, and I find them always for like $1 or $2.
The Image of War, 1861 to 1865, and it's volume 1, Shadows of the Storm, and it's about the U.S. Civil War.
It's mostly a photographic essay book with text.
That looks really interesting. Good, it's got some really nice photographs in it, nicely reproduced, good quality, and some great maps on the end pages.
And $1. Now, I have to explain, we'll hold these up together. It's the same book twice, except this one is called Jane Austen's World, The Life and Times of England's Most Popular Author, and this one is called Jane Austen's World, The Life and Times of England's Most Popular Novelist. So they changed, this book came out first, then this one, and they changed pictures inside. That's why I bought both, because they have different pictures, but I think it's all the same text. Just a slight title change and a different set of pictures.
Oh, this looks really nice. I recognise places I've visited, and in fact I see Bath here where I was only a few weeks ago, and Jane Austen actually lived for a while in my hometown, so yeah, very interesting. We're racing through them.
We're almost done. Put these over here. We did those, so we're almost finished. It's Sunday night, July 8th, and Gary's on his way back to England. We made a video together a little while ago before he left of the books that I purchased the last week, and unfortunately his were already packed up, so he couldn't show what he purchased. But I realized after he left that there were 3 books that I forgot to show that I purchased on Tuesday when we went to the Book Trader and Second Time Books in New Jersey. So I'm going to show those now and try to append this to the video I already uploaded. If I can't figure that out, I'll just put this in my regular monthly video. So I picked up at the Book Trader Custer's Fall by David Humphreys Miller. It's an old vintage paperback. And the Casablanca Companion. This was at Second Time Books by Jeff Siegel. And last, Close-Ups, the Movie Star book. edited by Danny Peary, Peary, and that's Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn on the cover. And then also, I think we were at Foxwoods. I think I got this at Foxwoods in Connecticut. It's Star Trek Beyond Captain Kirk. So it's not the original Captain Kirk, although it could easily look like William Shatner, since the character they found to play him is supposed to look like him anyway. So Captain Kirk. I have a Lemmy and now Captain Kirk. Those are the only two. My son has like 30, and my wife has, I think, 6. And then last, Gary had gotten me as a gift this mug. This is going to be my official tea mug. I have a coffee mug, and this will be from tea. And it's made in England, which is nice. And it's a Captain Jack. Is that what that is, right? Captain Jack flag. So, great trip. And till next time, take care again. Bye. It's Friday, July 13th, and time for another book update video. Hello, internet land. Okay, so, what did I get this week? Well, first of all, last week was a pretty good week. Purchased over 40 books. My friend Gary, on a visit from England, purchased probably 20 to 25, I'm guessing. And this week I did pretty good, except really, honestly, to do very good would be to buy no books because I have so many. But I go to Strand every day because it's near where I work, and I just find stuff outside inexpensive. But this week, besides buying books at Strand, there were 3 books mixed in with like the recycling in my building where I live. They were books that were going to be thrown out. I went through them. My wife had spotted them, so I went down and looked at them. Most of them were of no interest, but 3 of them I salvaged. They're pretty good, and pretty much they're brand new, basically. The Language Instinct, How the Mind Creates Language by Steven Pinker. Steven Pinker is a famous scientist from Canada of Jewish heritage. He's an atheist. My kind of guy. That book looks interesting. On the topic of atheism, Who Wrote the New Testament? The Making of the Christian Myth by Burton Mack. It's like brand new. Just sitting there. And The Island at the Center of the World, the epic story of Dutch Manhattan and the forgotten colony that shaped America by Russell Shorto. So 3 hardcover books, all basically new, and just sitting there for the taking. Then what did I get this week at Strand? So this was hard to spot. It was kind of, it's very skinny. It was just between some thicker books, but big ones like this, so that kind of like just got lost in the mix there. But I was flipping through them and I couldn't believe what I saw. This is The Life and Times of Olaf C. Seltzer, 1877 to 1957. It's a thin booklet. Seltzer was he knew Charlie Russell. He paints a little bit like Charlie Russell. And this article is written by Michael Stephen Kennedy. I read a book that he wrote about the Assiniboine Indians maybe 2 years ago. Not that he wrote it 2 years ago. I read it like about 2 years ago. This is from the early 1960s, I believe, this booklet. And the article, looking at it, it's very lightweight, but kind of fluff piece. But it's a nice little, piece of I don't know what to call it, like just a nice little item to have. I know what to call it, I just can't think of the word I'm looking for. Then I picked up today, this was $1, The Art of War by Christian Feast, Feest. The reason why I bought it is there's some Native American information in here. I'm just curious. It was only $1. There's some more than just what I'm showing you here, but it seemed like it could be interesting. Then they had 2 volumes. This I picked up yesterday. 2 volumes of Reader's Digest Illustrated Story of World War II, Volumes 1 and 2. Volume 1, Volume 2. First-hand accounts, lots of photographs. So I think that was a good find. They were $2 each. The only book I bought in the store this week was this one here. It's Living History, Living History, the Civil War, the history of the war between the states in documents, essays, letters, songs, and poems. Edited by Henry Steele Commager, and revised and expanded by Eric Brune. This is this book has been retitled. Originally, I think it was called The Blue and the Gray, and it was edited by Henry Steele Commager. And now it's, as I said, expanded and revised by Eric Brune. So this was $9 plus tax. It was almost $10. I think it was a good purchase. Now today, this was 52 cents with tax, the paperbacks. The Conspiracy of Pontiac by Francis Parkman. It's in great shape. Another paperback. This is the script to Annie Hall by Woody Allen and Marshall Brickman. So it's basically, there's some pictures and it's the script. Thought it was a cool cover. Annie Hall, great movie. And this was interesting. Thunder Gods, the Kamikaze Pilots Tell Their Story. It's by, I'm going to say his name as best I think it's said, Hatsuho Naito, translated by Mayumi Ichikawa. And there's a foreword by James Michina. When Gary and I were at the book barn, they had another paperback that was $1 there about kamikaze pilots. It seemed like a first-hand account. And I don't know what happened. Like, I was going to get it, and I put it down, and I left without it, and I just forgot all about it. So I'm kind of disappointed because I have another book that kamikaze pilots, first-hand account by a kamikaze pilot, except there's controversy whether or not he really was one or just bullshitting. But this one might have been legitimate, and I let it go. I doubt it'll be there next time I go. But what are you going to do? I got so much to read, but it would have been nice to get. This I have, but it was only $1. I couldn't believe it. I found this today. Never really find books like this outside at Strand, so I had to get it. Bill Sublett, Mountain Man by John E. Sunder. It's in great shape. This I found yesterday. I was quite surprised. It's very nondescript, the cover, and it was just sitting like this, and I saw the word. It said posts. And I was like, what kind of posts? What does that mean? And I saw it's outline of posts, what does that mean, outline of posts? And then I saw the word Sheridan. And then I saw it said Old Army Press, and I said bullseye. So this is an 1876 report on the forts out in the American West. I'm not sure if it's only the West. Yeah, Military Division of the Missouri. So these are the forts under Philip Sheridan's rule. And Fort Phil Kearny is in here. I believe that's in here. Let me see. So I'm naming forts now, but that was already out of commission. But I could swear I saw something about Phil Kearny in here. No, my mistake. Abraham Lincoln. I feel like I opened this up and I saw something about Fort Phil Kearny. Maybe it was mentioned in something. Maybe like talking about another fort, it was mentioned. I could swear I saw the name. Give me another moment. Don't rush me. Kearny. Key West is in here. Why is Key West in here? Let me look that up. Page 216. Give me a second. Post of Key West, Florida. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I misspoke about the Phil Kearny. Weird. I would have bet money. I thought I saw something about it, but of course that fort was already abandoned by the time 1876 came around. Okay, last, Wartime by Paul Fussell. I have this book, but it was missing a piece of the dust jacket up here. Not a big deal, but this was like practically new, and I wanted to get it. $2. Hopefully it's a good book. That's all for this week, and we'll see what happens next week. No plans for a book trip this weekend, but I will be busy putting these books away, so wish me luck. But it's Saturday afternoon, July 21st, and as usual, time for another book update video. So what did I get this week? This came in the mail from Amazon. I pre-ordered it a few months ago, patiently waiting for it. The Annotated Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. Annotated and edited by Owen Hill, Pamela Jackson, and Anthony Dean Rizzuto. I just read this book, not this book, but The Big Sleep, a few months ago, so now I'm going to have to reread it with the annotations. So maybe next year or the year after, I got to give it a little rest because I just read it. Let's see, this I found at Strand. This was $2. It's Dances with Wolves, kind of like, it's an illustrated story of the epic film. And a little bit of the making of, with pictures and so forth. It was outside for $2. And what's amazing is I have this in a soft cover version, different cover. The reason why I purchased it is because when I opened it up, I don't think even the people selling the book knew this, it's signed by the four people, including Kevin Costner and Michael Blake, the four people on the front here. Kevin Costner, Michael Blake, Jim Wilson, and photographs by Ben Glass. All four of them signed the inside. So that was pretty cool. I mean, book's in great shape. It's $2 with all the autographs. Michael Blake, of course, wrote the original novel that was turned into the movie. Then, this was, usually the hardcovers are $2. This was $3. It's The Second World War in the Far East by H.P. Wilmot. And I do believe, so much glare, I believe that this was reprinted in a soft cover and the title changed perhaps a little bit. Because there's another book by him with this very close to this title, and I think that it's just an updated version or just a reprint. But that book was in like excellent shape. Then this book was $2. It's a big book. It's called Images of War, the Artist's Vision of World War II, edited by Ken McCormick, Hamilton Darby Perry, and a foreword by John Hersey. Now this book I actually have. I bought it for $1, maybe last year, and it was in generally great shape, but the binding's a little bit like, I don't want to say loose, but it's been used, the book. It's a little bit on the loose side, but not like it's falling apart. This book is almost like brand new. I don't think it's been read. So for $2, I figured I'd get a really nice copy. Dust jacket was in great shape, and I thought that was a good purchase. The other one could be a reading copy. So that's it for this week, and tune in. Well, you're already watching. The next video will just start right after this one, but I'll talk to you next time, whoever you are. Bye. It's Thursday, July 26th, and time for another book update video. So what did I get this week at Strand? Oh, by the way, I'm doing this on Thursday, not on Friday, because dinner's cooking. I had a few minutes, and I thought that I would use the time to make the video. If I don't find anything tomorrow, then I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. But, it's always nice to find something, but I hope I don't. I have so much to read. Okay, so what did I get this week? This was $1 outside at Strand. 3 Soldiers by John Dos Passos. It's a famous World War I novel, anti-war novel. I just finished reading a book about World War II called Wartime by Paul Fussell. Fussell. It's pretty good, and he mentions this book a few times in there as a famous novel of World War I. And so when I saw this book, it was in great shape. The name stuck out at me, 3 Soldiers, because I remembered it from reading Wartime, and I picked that up. So, hopefully I'll get to read it someday. Steven Pinker, this is also $1. The Stuff of Thought, subtitled Language as a Window into Human Nature. $1. Great shape. Steven Pinker is, of course, a famous atheist scientist, we'll say, from Canada, of Jewish background like myself, but not a believer. American Heritage, just like I got today, $2. History of the Battle of Gettysburg by Craig L. Simons, Symonds. I have another book by Craig Simons about Gettysburg, and that is an atlas. It's a small book, and this is obviously a bigger book. And then the last book that I got today, this was $5 inside the store. They have an art book section with sale books in it for $5. And this is called Nick Cardy, Cardy, The Artist at War. And it's by Nick Cardy and Renee Wittenstater. Now, Nick Cardy died in 2013. He was a World War II veteran, and he became an artist for DC Comics. And I believe he was involved in Aquaman, probably more than that. Again, he died 5 years ago. And this book shows, I guess, like sketches and art that he did. Let's see. Let's find something. It's black and white and color, but he has a color image. And everything has like, there's a little story, like either some text or paragraph or two, or just a sentence telling about the pictures. For $5, it was in great shape, seemed like a good deal. So I took my chances, looked it up on Amazon afterwards. It had great reviews, got it for a good price, so I'm happy. It's also not a big, thick book, so that's nice. So that's it for this week, unless I find something tomorrow. But we're going out Saturday unexpectedly. Decided to go out to Jersey. I'm going to hit a bookstore or two there. And so if I find anything tomorrow, I'll just add it to Saturday's book haul, if I find anything, and do another update. And this month is almost over. July is almost over. And then it's August, like as if you don't know that. And then I'm down to 11 months, including August, till retirement. So, bye. It's Tuesday, July 31st, and this will be the final update for the month of July 2018. 11 months to go to retirement now, the end of June 2019. I can't believe I started with 41 months to go, and now I'm down to 11. It's been a trip. Okay, so the last video of the month, first I'll go over what books I purchased the last few days, and then what books I read and movies I watched for the month of July. This is kind of, mostly just a personal journal. If anybody watches, great. Okay, so what books did I get? Well, we went out on Saturday to 3 bookstores in New Jersey, and I was very disappointed. These are the stores we usually don't go to, and I only found one book the whole day, and I actually have it already, but it was $1.60. I like the cover. Tough Trip Through Paradise by Andrew Garcia, edited by Bennett Stein. There's some story to a little bit of a story that goes with this book, because the editor did alter the original notes that he found to make this book, and his son, Bennett Stein's son, I believe, was at one time trying to update the book and add back details that were left out, or that his father changed to suit the story he wanted to tell. But I don't think anything ever came of that, or is going to come of it. It's been quite a while. I emailed him a few years ago, and just I don't think he's really that interested in continuing, or maybe there's just no interest in getting it published. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. So anyway, this is the only book I wound up getting on Saturday. It is a great story, even whatever faults the book may have. The story itself, if you just want to read a great story, forgetting about the fact that you don't really know how accurate it is, but just enjoy the story. It is a great story. And it's a cool cover. Okay, so what did I get? So this week at Strand, I picked up actually 5 books. Actually, not this week. It's only Tuesday. So Monday I didn't find anything. Today I found one book outside, A Journey to Matacumbe, or Matacumbe, I'm not sure how you say it. It's by Robert Louis Taylor, and he wrote The Travels of Jamie McFeeters, which I read. It's a pretty good book. And, Mark Twainish maybe. Not quite, but along those lines. And that was also a TV series for a while, The Travels of Jamie McFeeters. So this is another book that he wrote. And I have another one by him also. I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's 3 that I have by him now. That was outside. Now, I went inside Strand today because I wanted to pick up a book I saw posted on their website. It's called Camp Austen, My Life as an Accidental Jane Austen Superfan. And it's by Ted Scheinman. softcover book. They had a bunch of them, and I picked out best copy I could find. I think it was $6.50 for this book, and that was all I went in to get. But on the shelf where this book was located, there were a whole bunch of other Jane Austen books, and I wound up buying 3 of them. This is all just spur of the moment purchases. This is a softcover book, Jane Austen for Beginners, and this is by Robert G. Dryden, illustrations by Joe Lee, and see, it's kind of cool. It's got let's see, some illustrations inside. One more. So, nice cover. Got good reviews. Then they had this, Creating Pride and Prejudice, 200 Years of Jane Austen's Masterpiece by Susanna Fullerton. I put the clear jacket on it, and it was a little bit hard to do because the cover actually has a cutout. So this is actually the hardcover book back here, and this is like kind of like the frame around it on the dust jacket. So I had to take the broad art jacket, and it has a white backing, and I had to cut out a hole in the white backing so that you could see the front like that. So it's a little project. And the last Jane Austen book that I bought today is Searching for Jane Austen by Emily Auerbach. And this looked interesting. I started to read it in the store. Hopefully I do get to read the book. I have so much Jane Austen. I only read Northanger Abbey so far, or Northanger Abbey as some people call it. But I have so many books by and about her now. I don't know what to do. I'm going to have like a year of reading Jane Austen. Maybe I could write a book after that year. Then this is something I pre-ordered on Amazon. It's published by the Charles M. Russell Museum in Montana. It's called Charles M. Russell, The Women in His Life and Art. Let's see the cover here. That cover. I have a lot of Charlie Russell books, quite a collection of them. I really like him, and this I just found out about recently. Actually, no, excuse me. I found out about it recently, and I misspoke when I said I pre-ordered. I'm thinking of another book. Just remember, this book I actually just found out about recently and ordered it on Amazon. It was cheaper ordering it on there than on like eBay or directly from the publisher by about $10. What was that book I pre-ordered? I don't remember, but got it confused. Anyway, brand new book. Glad to have it. Charlie Russell. I have to read a Charlie Russell book this year. So after vacation next month, I'll pick something out for the fall. Okay, now, what books did I read this month? I read Wartime, Understanding and Behavior in the Second World War by Paul Fussell. And the Amazon rating system of 5 stars, I'll follow that. I gave that 4 stars. Again, Wartime, Understanding and Behavior in the Second World War by Paul Fussell, 4 stars. Civil War and Reconstruction by David C. Kane. This is more of like a young adult book. I read it while I was on vacation when my friend Gary came because it was easy reading. And I gave that 4 stars. It was very informative. I thought it was good. If I was a young person, may not appreciate it that much, but as an adult looking at it, I think the author did a good job of explaining a lot of details and background. Okay, and then I'm halfway through Savannah by Janice Holt Giles. That's frontier American historical fiction. It's about 300 pages. I'm like halfway through. It's pretty good. I also read Military History Quarterly magazine for spring 2014. I gave that 5 stars, that issue. Had articles on D-Day, Napoleon, Cornwallis in India. Cornwallis is generally known for being in the American Revolution, a British general. There was an article about the Mexican-American War and other articles. I thought it was a very good issue, 5 stars. And then I started to read a book, Ambrose Bierce's Civil War, edited by William McCann. So Ambrose Bierce is a great writer. Um, I really wanted to like this book. It's nothing against Ambrose Bierce at all, but these stories are edited. It does say that the book is edited by William McCann, but I didn't realize like what way they were edited. So started reading it. It wasn't good, and then I looked up one of the stories for some reason online. Found like a PDF, like an original version from an old book, and I saw that the author had cut like parts out of the story, just like entire sections gone, and that really kind of changes the tone. Sections and parts within the sections that were printed edited parts out, and it just changes the tone of the story. It creates, in my opinion, like it takes away some of what Ambrose Bierce was trying to say, and so I given that 1 star. That's Ambrose Bierce's Civil War, edited by William McCann. So I do have those stories in their full format in other books, which I'll want to go back and read another Ambrose Bierce book before the end of the year. I just didn't want to do it right now because I was already reading it, stopped. I'd rather go back and not, even though they were edited, if I read it right away, another book, it would be like most of the same material is still going to be there. And it would be boring reading it twice. So I figured I'd give it a few months and then go back to it. So Charlie Russell book I have to look forward to coming up. I'll pick something out, and another Ambrose Bierce book, but something that is not edited like that. Okay, what movies did I watch this month of July? So I'll just go in sequence. Beautiful Girls, Matt Dillon was in that. Noah Emmerich, Annabeth Gish or Jish, I guess it's Gish. Timothy Hutton, and there's others. I gave that 3 stars out of 5. Kate Can't Swim. Josh Hellman, Celeste Arias, Jennifer Alcott, Zoja Mamet. Not sure of all the names. I gave that 2 stars. I'm not really going into details of what the movies are about, just what I watched and the rating. Snowpiercer. Chris Evans, Ed Harris, John Hurt, Jamie Bell, Octavia Spencer, Kang Ho Song, I guess a Chinese actor, and others. That was from 2013, that movie. It's kind of like a sci-fi movie. I gave that 3.75 stars. I felt that I really liked the story. Thought it was a good movie. There's just a little bit of unreality to the whole thing. Like a lot of questions come up as to how this could actually play out for real. But watching it, if you're watching it like in a metaphorical way, or not being like taking it too literal, but just what they're trying to say in the story, it's very good. I gave that 3.75 stars. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Ethan Hawke, Albert Finney, and Marissa Tomei. 2007 movie. I gave it 4 stars. He's Just Not That Into You. Morgan Lilly, Trenton Rogers, Michelle Carmichael, Jasmine Woods. 2009. I gave that a 3.75. At Middleton, Andy Garcia and Vera Farmiga. 2014 movie. I gave 2 stars. I was expecting to like that. I mean, those are 2 actors I think are good and enjoyable to watch, but that movie was a loser, in my opinion. 2 stars. Fight Club. Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, Helena Bonham Carter. 1999 movie. I gave that 2.75 stars, so I didn't quite get up to 3 on that one. It was good, but I just felt I just couldn't go 3 stars. Just a bit like maybe too violent. I don't know. I can go 3 stars, I guess. Journey's End. Paul Bettany, Sam Claflin, Asa Butterfield, Toby Jones, more. 2017 movie, 3.5 stars. Journey's End. No More Orchids. Carol Lombard and Walter Connolly from 1932. 2.5 stars. The Private Lives of Pippa Lee, starring Robin Wright, Keanu Reeves, Alan Arkin, Winona Ryder. 2009 movie, 3 stars. No Heart Feelings, like No Hard Feelings. This is No Heart Feelings. I believe that took place in Toronto, that movie, if I remember correctly. Alison Broverman, Mitchell Chan, Hilary Doyle, Jonathan Goldstein, Rebecca Kohler from 2010. I gave that 2 stars. And I remember like not liking that too much. There was no story. The Knack and How to Get It. It's an English movie from 1965. Rita Tushingham, Ray Brooks, Michael Crawford, Donald Donnelly, William Dexter, and Charles Dyer. Again, 1965. I gave that 3 stars. The Layover. Kate Upton, William Macy, Rob Corddry, Molly Shannon. 2016 movie. I gave 2.5 stars. The Layover, 2.5 stars. I'd watch that again, even though I didn't give it a very high rating. It's just kind of silly, but I'd watch it again. Waiting for Forever. Rachel Bilson, Tom Sturridge, Richard Jenkins, Blythe Danner, Nikki Blonsky, 2010 movie. I thought that would be better than it was. I gave that 2 stars. It was a little bit harsh on movies this month, I think, but they deserved it. Just didn't pick out too many winners. The Hard Way. Ida Lupino, Joan Leslie, and Dennis Morgan, 1943. 2.5 stars. Happy Go Lucky. This was another English movie. Sally Hawkins, Eddie Marsan, Elliot Cowan, Sinead Matthews. 2008 movie. I gave 3.75 stars. Compliant. Ann Dowd, Matt Servito, Driama Walker, Ralph Rodriguez, Pat Healy. 2012 movie. I gave 3.5 stars. Unhook the Stars, 3.5 stars. How to Lose Friends and Alienate People. Mostly good. That was with Simon Pegg. That might have been another English movie. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's an American movie that Simon Pegg was in. But anyway, Simon Pegg, Kirsten Dunst, Megan Fox, Jeff Bridges, and Gillian Anderson. Now that was starts off in England, if I remember right now, and then he comes to America. Anyway, that I gave. Did I say what I gave that one? 3.5 stars. Prime, starring Uma Thurman, Meryl Streep, and Brian Greenberg from 2005. I don't know why this movie is called Prime, but I gave it 3.5 stars. I wasn't thrilled with the ending, or maybe the ending wasn't so bad, but the message overall, that you can't mix religions, when I just felt religion should have been left out of it entirely, because I don't believe in religion. Okay, On Chesil Beach. But as far as that movie Prime goes, I mean, for the people who do like religion and are into that, and if I could put my feelings aside about religion, it was a good movie. And if you're into religion, like religion, you might think it's better than my 3.5. Maybe you go 4. On Chesil Beach. I don't know how to say her name. Saoirse. Saoirse. I just don't know. Ronan is her last name. She was in a movie called Brooklyn. I guess she's an Irish actress. Emily Watson, Anne-Marie Duff, Samuel West, Billy Howell, or Howley, Adrian Scarborough, B.B. Cave from 2017. Now, I really like some of the people in this movie, but 2.5 stars because that was what I thought of it. 2.5 on Chesil Beach. The Apartment, that was a part of my rewatch. I'm rewatching one classic that I love each month for the next, for the 15 months from which I already started until retirement. So now I have 10 more to go. I've watched 4 of them. This is the 4th one, The Apartment with Jack Lemmon, Shirley MacLaine, Fred McMurray. It's a 1960 movie directed by Billy Wilder, and that's a 5-star movie, The Apartment. Any criticisms are minor criticisms, but it's a great movie. Jack Lemmon is great. Shirley MacLaine is great in it. Fred McMurray is great in it. It's just a great movie. Okay, Cyrus, John C. Reilly, Marissa Tomei, and Jonah Hill. 3.5 stars. That's 2010. I gave that 3.5. There was some parts I feel a little bit critical about in that movie, but overall, it was entertaining and unique. I liked it. Man Up, I watched yesterday. That's with Simon Pegg and Lake Bell. That's an English movie. 3.75 stars. Would make just a few minor changes to that movie, and it would be a 4 or more than 4-star movie. Man Up, again, Simon Pegg, Lake Bell, 3.75 stars. Today I haven't yet watched the movie, but I'm going to, a little bit later, watch Petticoat Fever with Myrna Loy and Robert Montgomery. It's from 1936, and I hope I like it. So that's it for the month of July. Bye.